Now, the minority in Parliament have successfully secured an amendment of the Revenue and Administration Bill, which would have required drivers of all classes to acquire tax clearance certificate before they can renew their driver's license. Listen to MP for Adaklu, gov't Kwame Agboja, arguing against the bill and chastising government for insatiable appetite for taxes.
In 2018, this House, under the current finance minister, brought a tax to this House, luxury vehicle tax. This side of the House attempted advising our colleagues on the opposite side that this tax will not work. It was too complicated. Mr. Speaker, at that time, the finance ministry attempted redefining tipper trucks, pickups on the farm as luxury vehicles. They refused. They spent Parliament's time and time of civil servants and introduced luxury vehicle tax. In 2019, they came back here and said that they got it wrong and they repealed that tax. They are about to do the same thing. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, there's no Ghana Revenue's office in Adaklu district. You are telling me that the guy operating trotro between Wire and Ho should go and look for a GRA office before he even registers. Mr. Speaker, I agree when they say that a lawyer like you, engineers and professionals, accountants should have tax clearance before they re-register for their professional practice certificate. I agree with that one. But Mr. Speaker, it's absurd. And the level of desperation of this government to the extent that asking ordinary Ghanaians that before you even get driving license, get tax clearance, the guy is already unemployed. What tax do you expect him to declare? What is this, Mr. Speaker? We must all, including yourself, oppose this. In fact, when you are hungry, you can't eat stone to be satisfied. You can't squeeze tax out of people who are unemployed. What is this? This is not a tax you are looking for. You are just desperate. How can an ordinary taxi driver go and look for a tax clearance certificate issuing office which doesn't exist in his district? Honorable Deputy Finance Minister, are you aware there's no tax office in Adaklu?
But first, Deputy Speaker and MP for Bekwai, Joseph Osei-Wusu, fought back, insisting the principle behind the bill is laudable.
It's a true pity that we tend to make politics out of these. I have not been long in this House. This is my fourth term. And I recall what Honorable Joe Ajaho told us while he was here. He said, when you are at my left, watch what you say, because when you come to the right, you'll be met with the same argument. This government doesn't need revenue. Yes, this government is desperate. In fact, it must be more desperate. It should be more desperate in order to raise money to provide the things that Ghanaians want. What we should be asking is, how can we efficiently implement this tax so more revenue will be raked in? There's no point in being emotional about who or what, because if a taxi driver earns beyond the taxable income, he must pay his dues. If an Okada rider earns what is taxable, he must also earn his dues. I've heard those who say there are no revenue officers in their districts and constituencies. It may well be true. I don't know whether there's a licensing office at Adaklu. If there's no license office at Adaklu, but the driver at Adaklu can obtain license, he would be able to obtain a tax clearance certificate. I am not bothered about who has to. What I'm bothered is, how can we efficiently and conveniently do it? I think that is what, as members of Parliament, we should apply our minds and our intellect to. Do we need the revenue? Yes. If you look at the budget, even with all this revenue, if you're able to collect all of them 100%, it will still not cover all our costs. And therefore, our argument should be, how can we maximize the revenue? How can we ensure that what we are collecting, it is efficient?
So after an intense back and forth, the Finance Ministry agreed to amend the bill to take out the portion that will require tax clearance certificate to renew driver's license.
I'd like to inform the House that at the consideration stage, I'll move an amendment to delete this item from the bill. Mr. Speaker, I will move an amendment to delete clause 2, which has to do. Mr. Speaker, I will move an amendment which has to do with the requirement for a tax clearance certificate for the registration of vehicles and the renewal of professional driving license. Mr. Speaker, this is the amendment I would want to propose at the consideration stage, that we delete clause 2, which states that we will need a tax clearance certificate for the registration of vehicles and the renewal of professional driving license.
But this is the second reading. This is the second reading.
I'm only informing the House that when it gets to the consideration stage, this is what I intend to do.
Leadership. Let me hear the leadership.
Well, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Once our colleague, Honorable Abuna, is giving the assurance that when we get to consideration stage, the portion in relation to the driver, vehicle and licensing authority, the two items there will be deleted.
Deputy Finance Minister.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, exactly so.